Gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the Committee on Professional Conduct. The first order of business is approval of the September 26, 2019 minutes. I'd entertain a motion. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Do we need attendance first?
But before we do that, I have come up with the brilliant idea of first having a roll call. May we please have a roll call?
Jose Campos.
Dan Jacobson,
Sochi Leon,
Mary Jiang.
Carola Nicholson,
Deirdre Robinson.
Luz Molina Lopez.
now what I'd like to do, because it's my decision, is to go to item number 1, and that's approval of the September minutes. Is there a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve those minutes. Is there any comment amongst the committee members? Is there any comment from the public? Please call the roll.
Jose Campos?
Yes.
Mary Jiang?
Yes.
Dan Jacobson?
Yes.
Sochi Leon?
abstain.
Luz Molina Lopez?
Yes.
Carola Nicholson?
Abstain.
And Deirdre Robinson?
Abstain.
The motion has indeed passed, and we'll move on to item number 2. And for that, we have Mr. Aaron Bone. Mr. Bone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, the purpose of this item is to provide the CBA the opportunity to consider and approve a legislative proposal which clarifies that all email addresses collected by the CBA from its applicants and licensees are not subject to public disclosure. Under existing law, until the end of the year, the CBA may collect an email address at the time of application for a CPA license and the renewal of a CPA license. That existing authority provides that, in the interest of privacy, those email addresses shall not be considered a public record and shall not be disclosed pursuant to a California Public Records Act request or posted on the internet unless required by a court order. Assembly Bill 1521, the CBA's sunset bill, requires, beginning next year, that all applicants and licensees provide and maintain with the CBA a valid email address, if they have one. This requirement extends to accounting firms and those renewing in a retired or military inactive status, among others. Beginning in January, the CBA will start the mandatory collection of email addresses, but for consistency, the legislative proposal before you will make clear that an email address provided by any applicant or licensee is confidential. The proposal adds a new section to the Accountancy Act to cover all email addresses and deletes the existing email confidentiality provisions in Business and Professions Code sections 5070 and 5070.5 since they would no longer be necessary. Staff recommend the CBA approve the proposed language and direct staff to seek its inclusion in a 2020 omnibus bill, or if necessary, find an author to carry a separate bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Do any of the committee members have any questions or comments?
I have a question. Yes, thank you, Mr. Bone. You mentioned the mandatory collection of email addresses will begin January 1, 2020. Is it mandatory to provide an email address? So each person has to have an email address that they share with the CBA?
So the law states that if you have one, then you shall provide a valid email address. So it doesn't require you to go out and get a new address if you don't already have one. But if you do have one, you must provide us a valid email address.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I move to adopt the recommendation stated on page 2 by staff.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. I did want to comment on the issue that was just mentioned, and that's that I appreciate the sensitivity to the fact that those of us of a certain age may not have email addresses, and so I thank the staff and the committee for being sensitive to that issue. With that, are there any further comments? Any public comments? Please call the roll.
Deirdre Robinson,
Yes.
Corolla Nicholson,
Yes.
Luz Molina Lopez,
Yes.
Soshi Leon,
Yes.
Dan Jacobson,
Yes.
Mary Jiang,
Yes.
and Jose Campos.
Yes.
The motion indeed has passed. And we'll move on to number 3, which is comments from the public. Does anyone from the public have any comments about anything relevant to what what we're here for? Seeing none, then are there any agenda items that any of the committee members wish to mention for the next meeting or for some future meeting? I see none, and therefore, this meeting is adjourned. And since real judges don't actually, in real life, don't actually have these gavels, and even though I've been a judge pro tem at times, I want to do this. Meeting adjourned.